Hey, time travelers, and welcome back to the Nostalgia and Nonsense podcast. This week, we're talking about weird internet trends that had us gripped. Oh, I can't believe half of these even existed. It's just so weird when trends become a thing. Like, how, why, when? We'll talk about all those, and I'll also be diving into some cringe ArcsFM statuses. If you guys remember ArcsFM, it was basically like a platform where people could ask you questions. I'm going to go read through all of my old ones from like 2014, 13. I'm going to probably cringe a lot. So stay tuned for that towards the end of the episode. But first, let's hit rewind. Let's talk about internet trends and nostalgia that makes me want to cringe, but it's also kind of fascinating at the same time. And I think YouTube is probably one of the platforms that really gives me like the feels, because that's where a lot of trends actually started happening, especially in like the 2010s. One of the first things that I remember existing, or the first time that I ever seen like a trend, it was the annoying orange. It was kind of like a web series where the orange would talk and it just had a really annoying personality in a high-pitched voice. But the humor, it was deliberate and over the top. So it was designed to be irritating, but it kind of became like entertaining and became a hit as well. So this is kind of a reminder of how even the most crazy and obnoxious ideas and personalities can somehow find an audience online and become a viral sensation. And fast forward a little bit, and we have Grumpy Cat. This was a cat that was the internet's grumpiest and most expressive cat, with a permanently sad and displeased look. So Grumpy Cat became a meme and a viral sensation, and there's countless images of Grumpy Cat appearing online. The Grumpy Cat also had a website with a lot of merch on there, so they had 1,082 items available on the official Grumpy Cat online shop, which is wild thinking about. And there's also like a wall calendar that would get released each year since 2013, and they even came back and released one in 2022. So yeah. And Sally Grumpy Cat, the cat actually died in 2019, which is so sad. So 2012 to 2019, and yeah, it's actually so sad. Also, do you guys remember the dabbing craze? Basically, it was the signature dance move where you drop your head into your elbow and raise your opposite arm, and it just became a big phenomenon, and it's just so silly that dabbing even became a thing. Like, why? How? The internet is just crazy, but looking back, dabbing is so cringeworthy. But sometimes I still dab today, not gonna lie. Maybe I shouldn't expose myself like that. Speaking of viral dances, let's not forget about the Harlem Shake. This trend took off in 2013 and involved like 30-second videos where one person would start dancing alone, and then as the beat dropped, everyone else would join in, usually like wearing wild clothes and costumes. And I think like everyone made a Harlem Shake video. Like surely like so many brands and offices and celebrities like jumped on the idea. So it really snowballed into a massive trend. And it was really fun to actually kind of watch them videos, but eventually it did become pretty overdone. So it kind of lost some of like that original charm. Now, something a little bit darker that became a famous kind of trend was the Tide Pod Challenge. So those laundry pods that you kind of put in to your washing machine to wash the clothes, people would film themselves eating or biting into them. And like, as you can imagine, like that's just not only dangerous, but it's just really bloody stupid. I don't know how it was hilarious to be having a risk of being poisoned. So yeah, it's not really worth the likes if you could probably die from being poisoned. Tide Pods, terrible idea. Don't do it. It was so dumb and cringy then, and it still is dumb today. So the Tide Pod Challenge, one of those dark, stupid challenges that should never have existed. I feel like as well, like when it came to like trends, there's a lot of trends on YouTube, but on Facebook, the trends were like so different and usually borderline bullying. I remember that period girl, and she would eat her own blood. I feel like that was a thing on Facebook. What's her name? Her name was Giovanna Plowman. Oh, when I was in high school, I don't know why it was everywhere. Like, she would suck on her own tampons. Apparently, she's on TikTok. Is she really on TikTok? Blech. She would literally pull a bloody tampon out of her vagina and then suck it. So, there's not really other background or information that you need to know, except that's literally what she did, and she became really popular for it. She even tweeted at the time, like, why is Ariana Grande even famous or known? Like, she put that on Twitter, and Ariana Grande replied to her and said, not for eating tampon, that's for damn sure. The bloody tea. Ooh, I can't believe that, like, celebrities replied to her. Oh, I cannot believe it. I'm gonna post these screenshots of Ariana Grande's reply in the Patreon community on my internet island so that you guys can see them. Oh, it's so hilarious though. Oh my god, how about Coney 2012? That was such a weird time. It was kind of like a social media campaign that was aimed at making awareness about Joseph Kony, who was a Ugandan warlord known for his crimes. And the campaign was super effective because I remember even being in school and the teachers talking about it and bringing in programs and like posters. And I think we even like watched it in school. So it really had a global attention of Kony's actions, and it was kind of one of the first times we've seen like a viral moment to kind of leverage social media for an actual cause. But apparently there was a lot of like controversy and criticism after the campaign. I just remember seeing the red and blue posters everywhere. Within a week, that video had 100 million views. So it was like a record on YouTube at the time. And even like Justin Bieber, Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, like so many famous people shared the video. And it was just a really weird time. But I mean, it's good that the internet tried to do something good in the world. I'd kind of love to go back and actually look at what actually ended up happening with Kony 2012, because to me, it just kind of disappeared and fizzled away. And I never actually remembered what the outcome of the bloody cause was. You guys remember? Let me know on Instagram or something, because I'd be keen to dive into that a little bit more. How about Flappy Bird, that game that was on iPhone, or like people just be playing Flappy Bird on their iPod? I never actually really played it, but at the time, like everyone would be playing it. Sorry, I'm just playing Flappy Bird. We just didn't talk to each other. We just played Flappy Bird. It's just such a simple game and concept, but it was so popular at the time. There was also the Chewbacca mom. Do you remember when she puts the mask on, the Chewbacca mask, and she like films herself wearing it and she's just like laughing at herself heaps? Like, oh, it was so infectious with her laugh, and it still makes me laugh today. She even made an appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show, I think, or at least there was a like Chewbacca on there. And yeah, she was on like getting interviewed on like so many talk shows. Like, we just have nothing better to do but interview like this mom that wore a Chewbacca mask. But it was nice. She seemed like a cool chick, and it was just, yeah, a nice simple pleasure in life. Okay, how about Damn Daniel? This was like funny at the time, but it was when there was a dude called Daniel and he was praised for wearing his white Vans sneakers. And that's when like the catchphrase, damn Daniel, it became like a meme. And it's just something so simple on, I think this was on Vine at the time. Oh, I miss Vine. RIP to Vine. What are some Vines that you guys remember? Let me know. We need to have some Vine chat. That would be good. But I remember even just walking around school, like Damn Daniel was still a thing. So if anyone had like any white shoes on, even if they weren't Vans, people would be doing it. They'd be like, Damn Daniel. Or like, what are those? What are those? Damn Daniel. Ah, wild. How about hide your kids, hide your wife? I remember the viral news interviews. This dude in particular was really passionate about warning people of a local criminal, and it became a meme that's just been quoted so often. And I think it's one of those classic viral moments, and it just kind of took off from there with a lot of other like interviews on the news. Like people would just, there'd be some crazy people. I feel like the journalists started interviewing people that seemed a little bit crazy, just for the viral sensation at that point. And there's also around the time where I feel like there's so many news fails. I need more news fails. I think news fails that happen today, sometimes I question them whether they're being purposely planted to be a news fail or not. So back then, though, I feel like there was a lot of news fails that would happen, and they were so freaking hilarious. News fails and viral news interviews were so iconic at the time. Let's move on to Arcs FM. This was one of those websites where people could ask you questions anonymously, and you would basically reply to the question, and it would get posted publicly for everyone to see. And I'm going to read some of my old Arcs FM questions and answers because I was so cringe on the internet. I mean, I still am cringe on the internet, so I guess I've always been cringe on the internet. But this one is just extra cringe. And I think my username even was cringe. I was like Tylah Hillbilly. And yeah, so let me read out some of my old cringe Arcs FMs from back in the day. Okay, someone asked me on there, what is the first thing you do if you're the opposite gender for one day? I replied, go shopping cause shops for girls are hella swag. Why was the internet like this? Why was I like this? Swag. I thought it was cool like to write swag, but SWEG was even cooler than just writing swag. Shopping for girls is hella swag. You know what? Not wrong. There's so many shops that are girl shops though. So I was like, if I was a girl, I'd go shopping. Okay, who is the hottest person you know? Somebody asked me. And why did I reply with this? Oh, guys, you have to remember this was like 2012 or something. Like, this was peak, like early high school Tyler, I think. Maybe mid high school Tyler. I was a child, okay? So just forgive me. Who is the hottest person you know? My reply was, my mum's pretty hot. Hot spelled HAWT. My mum's pretty hot. But seriously, there are a couple of attractive people. So many hot people I would never be with, though. Ha ha ha. Sad face. That's so freaking embarrassing. Why did I say that? So many attractive people that I would never be with. What does that mean, Tyler? Is it because they're all straight and I'm not? I feel like that was probably what I meant. Oh my god, someone wrote on my Arcs FM, are you horny? What the frick? People are so weird. We're literally high school people. Like, why would you write that? I just replied to them, nope. I shouldn't even reply to give them the time of day. That's weird. Why do zombies attack? I replied, they are just normal humans that are dead but still hungry. You're not wrong, Tyler. That's actually factual, Tyler. They're dead but hungry, but they were just normal humans. And that's the tea. What was the moment that you felt really proud about yourself? Aww. I replied, like, the word like spelled LYK. I thought I was so cool in my spelling. I spelled things like that on purpose. LYK, like, and school would always be spelled SKOOL, school. And I replied, like, never. And then you do the colon and the uppercase P to do like the, the smiley face, like the tongue out face. And then hashtag low self-esteem. Hashtag low self-esteem. Oh, Tyler. I'm embarrassed just reading these out now. Why am I even doing this to myself? So embarrassing. The next person on my cringe Arcs FM back in the day, they asked me, how do I find true love? And I responded, don't ask me, ... And then I did the face where you do like the eyebrows really high. So you do like, like the arrow up, like shift 6 with the arrow up and then full stop and then shift 6 with the arrow up. Like, that face? I did that one. God, why did we always use like little things like that? Is it because emojis didn't exist? Oh, this is what we did before emojis existed. What is something you find hard to stop once you've started? My response was drugs. I thought I was so funny. But not wrong. People would write the most disgusting stuff on here. I can't even read half of them out to you. Oh, Maybe I'll post them on my Patreon, but I don't know. They're so inappropriate. And as a teenager, people shouldn't be writing things like this on the internet. What habits that others have that annoys me most? Other people's habits that annoy me most would be smoking. It is yuck. Facts. Smoking is actually really gross. Blech. Just the smell and just everything. Someone replied to me on there and said, smoking may be gross, but I'd smoke your pole. Who are these people writing this to me? What's your lucky number? My lucky number's 14. It still is 14. My lucky number's been 14, I think, ever since Troy Bolton existed, because Troy Bolton in High School Musical, his jersey number when he plays basketball is 14. And I think it's just like 14. It's just such an even number. It's nice, clean, it's a vibe. And my angel number that I always see all the time is 143. That's my angel number, and I see it everywhere. I forget what it means. I've Googled it a few times. Let me know what your lucky number or angel number is. I'd be so curious to know. And like, what does it mean as well? Someone asked me, what is your passion? And my answer was making people laugh and just entertaining people. Aw, Tyler, that's so sweet. And you know, that is true. Like, I feel like I just want a job where I can like make people laugh or entertain them or just make their day better. A job where I can make people's day better is a job that I would stay in. Not just make their day better, like make their life better. Someone asked me, can I ejaculate on my chin? People, why are you guys asking me this on the internet? It's so inappropriate. So inappropriate, guys. But like, seriously, for like teenagers all writing each other anonymous questions on the internet, why? Someone asked me, do I like anyone at the moment? And I said, no, not really. No one I know of that I actually is likable. Ha ha ha. I think I'm too fussy. I actually am like super fussy. Like, sometimes I'm like, do I just like not like anyone? Someone wrote on my Arcs FM and said, I'm funny as F. And they're not wrong. I am. What should there be in a perfect city? A road to get there. Dope. Do you guys remember using the word dope? D-E-R-P. Derp. Used as a substitute for speech regarded as meaningless or stupid, or to comment on a foolish or stupid action. Dope. Oh, why did we use this language? But yeah, that's some cringy Ask FM questions. I wish I never went through and read those because, it's just cringy and embarrassing even just reading it now. Like, that's not the same person as me now. I have to think this was quite a while ago, so obviously I'm not going to be the same person. Have you guys ever had Arcs FM or any weird old social media stories that you had? Like, what was the first social media that you had? Was there anything weird that happened to you on social media? I'd love to know. I'm so curious. I love learning about people and different experiences and things. So chat with me on Patreon or slide into my Instagram DMs and send me a voice note on there. And that's a wrap of today's episode of Nostalgia and Nonsense. I hope you enjoyed the deep dive into the early days of social media and like the different weird trends and cringy stuff that has happened. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to review it or follow it wherever you listen to your podcast so that you can not miss an update on when the next podcast is posted, and share it with a friend. Help other people find my podcast and join in a growing community of nostalgia lovers. Also love hearing from you, so yeah, as I always mention, feel free to reach out with me with your thoughts or questions or suggestions for future episodes, or send me voice notes of what you want to chat about, and it might feature you on the pod as well in the Memories Unlocked section. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to tune in next week because we're going into more deep dives, and this one is all about SpongeBob SquarePants plus a pet that I had killed and forgot about. I will talk about another pet that I've killed in next week's episode. So until then, stay nostalgic. Don't download your Arcs FM and read through the questions again because it's cringe. Yeah, chat with you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Bye. Have a good week.